Welcome everybody to Conversation with Jay. I am your host, Minister Jay Willis, and I'm so excited to be with one of my good friends, a great musician, a brother I got a chance to meet and had a beautiful opportunity to work with. His name is
Giant Boykin.
Giant Boykin. I love his name because he's like 7'8", 139,000 pounds. I'm just kidding. No, he's not. No, man. So,
man.
Your real name is Giant.
Real name is Giant. Yeah.
Love that, brother.
Yes, sir. Yes,
so, I said this joking in April. Your mom probably didn't know you was gonna be this tall, or did she?
No, I mean it wasn't like planned like the name for me to be tall. In fact, my mom actually had a dream, and it was just a lot of people saying call him Giant.
Wow.
And so my dad started doing some biblical work, and he found the name to come to mean a man over many, a name of leadership, of like being comfortable with people, and like people are always looking to me for advice and inspiration and things like that. So that's basically what the name is supposed to mean.
I love it, man. I love that, man. So, and you are married?
I'm married.
Awesome, man.
On 3 years in May.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you, Lord, for that. That's amazing, for real. And you just had a son?
Just had a son back in August of 2021.
Mm-hmm.
He's everything.
I love
that kid.
So, man, explain to us like what you do and who you are, because that's one thing that's very important, and what you do. Okay. Because those are two different things. Mm-hmm. Who you are and what you do is two different things. So explain to me, man. Like, first of all, who you are. I know, a little bit about you, but not too much. So.
Got you. The who you are question. That's the one thing I never think about. I'm first off a Christian. I love God. I couldn't even sit here and lie about not loving God. Or lie about not being in church. That's where I grew up. That's where I was. So that's a part of me. That's my identity. I'm a husband. I'm a father. A musician. Man, this is a hard question. I'm just trying to figure out who I am. It's so deep.
Yeah, it is, bro. It is, bro. Don't ask me the question.
No, it's something I've never really thought about it from this way of like who I am, and not just specifically what I do. But I try to be a leader, whether that's whether people are looking at me for leadership or listening to me for leadership, and by that I mean setting an example or actually being in a position of leadership. And I try to be a friend to all.
That's awesome, man. So. That's awesome for real. Well, that's awesome, man. And tell us a little bit about what you do, where you serve. I know you say you're a Christian, and just about your pastor. If you don't like him, it's okay. We don't have to. I know he's a great pastor. I was just kidding, fans. I actually love his pastor too.
I love that dude. I would do anything for him right now. He could call me and be like, "I got $1,000." It's like I ain't got it, but I'm gonna send it to you. No, so I obviously a musician. I just finished my master's degree in jazz studies at the University of North Texas. I am the bass player at Life Visions Church in Fort Worth.
Woo-hoo.
Pastors Joel Bogar, love them and their family. It's kind of an accident how we even got over there. I was subbing for somebody, and they wouldn't let me go.
Like, nah, this is it.
And we loved it. I mean, from day one, we kind of got back there during COVID. It was still a little tense, and so it wasn't in person. I remember coming home and just telling my wife, I was like, okay. So those prayers we've been talking about with church, I think they've just been answered. So I do that. I teach lessons, and right now I'm working on my career as I don't want to say influencer. I feel like that takes so much validity from what I'm doing, but I'm working on my YouTube and my social media sites. My YouTube mostly is for lessons on things that people don't think about as a musician, or not even just a musician. I'm also talking life lessons as just being a good person or a business person.
Love it.
And then also presenting my music, and then presenting the side of being a musician, because people don't realize what goes into this. I mean, it's a grind. It's almost like if I said you were going to start your own business, it's the exact same thing. There's going to be good days, there's going to be bad days. So I really want people to understand that. And then also to see like what I do is actually difficult. I mean, a lot of people can say that music is easy, and I've been told this so many times, like I wish I had a bum degree like music, and all I did was just play music all day. It is difficult. And while you're taking 14 hours and struggling, I'm taking 23 and thriving. Wow. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a lot of things that go into it. I don't always get paid what I'm worth. And I'm always working to get better. And I'm very self-critical of myself. So there's a lot of things that go into it. And so that's what I've been working on with that. And of course, watching my son while my wife is at work. I've been blessed with an amazing wife. That and she's a great teacher. She's a teacher in Grand Prairie, actually, 6th grade teacher.
Amazing.
But that's what I do basically during the day.
Shout out to teachers.
Oh my gosh, shout out.
It's hard. So I just got a few questions for you, man, because I'm a fan. I'm a fan of you, DeAndre. There's a few musicians that I really, really enjoy to work with. And the ones that's just 100% professional. Malachi, I can't forget about him. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to all of them that worked with me on my birthday concert. When you came, it was like, oh wow, I can work with this. You see what I'm saying? You didn't say, oh well, what's his numbers or what's his following? It was like, oh no, this music is dope. One of my questions I wanted to ask you on the show, when you choose, well, of course, I know you're spiritually led, but whenever you make a decision to pick up an instrument, and do a song, what motivates you to pick up, out of all the instruments, you could have played the flute. You know what I'm saying?
For sure. And I do play the flute, actually.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. But out of all the instruments, what made you choose, drums and sax and jazz? Because there's a lot of different genres.
For sure.
What drew you to those genres is what I'm trying to ask.
Yeah, for sure. It's kind of a story. I have
Please
to kind of story with it. So
that's what this show is?
Of course.
The story of Giant.
I come from a musical family.
Gotcha.
My dad's a sax player, and my mom was a singer. And so I when I was 2, well, actually before then, but when I was 2 is where I kind of get the start of it. I was allowed, as I like to call, make noise in church and play the drums.
Awesome.
And that's when my musical career kind of started. And so I played drums. That was my thing up until about 5th grade. And then I decided to pick up the upright bass, and I played in orchestra. And then in the 6th grade, I picked up the saxophone. When I did that, everything kind of turned into, drums is kind of like, I play drums as well, but this is what I was really focused on as far as the saxophone and the bass. And then about 8th grade, I decided to learn piano. Growing up, I had a whole lot of struggles with ADHD.
Oh, wow.
And
you would never know that.
And see, that's the thing.
That's a blessing.
I tell my wife about this all the time. It's like, I hate the fact that the answer to someone having a different skill is what I call it. That's what ADHD is. It's a different skill. To medicate them because they're different than other people, right?
That's
and so
good topic,
when I was younger, they were trying to get me on all the Ritalin and stuff like that. It's just like, my parents said I put me on it for a week, and it's like we hated him. He was such a terrible person to be around with it,
Wow.
And I didn't even know that. They just recently told me that. You can't just tell your kids like, I hate you this week.
You get on my nerves on Tuesday. You were great on Wednesday.
Yeah, Wednesday we're fine.
I don't never want to see you on Tuesday again.
I work overtime on Tuesdays. Is he in bed?
Oh my God.
But what happened is, for anyone who doesn't have ADHD or people that know that do have ADHD, it's hard to concentrate. Mm-hmm. And what I found out was it wasn't hard to concentrate. I was just bored.
Wow. I
was bored. So, you pick up one instrument
mm-hmm.
and it's like, okay, I'm learning it and I'm getting better at it, but how come I can't play this instrument? Mm-hmm. I've never wanted to sit down and be focused on it. And then I found out the more I was learning and the more I was doing, I was playing basketball, I was in choir, I was in orchestra, I was in band, and I was playing outside in church. The more I found myself doing things, the more easier it was to focus. Wow. Because for 30 minutes in this time, all I have to do is 30 minutes. I'm focused on this. But the next 30 minutes, I'm doing something completely different, and that helped me so much. As far as like the genre of music that goes to, I am a huge fan of Black American music.
Love it.
In the entirety. And what a lot of people don't know is jazz is a Black American art form.
Yeah.
And it is the only American art form. Like, it was created in America, and I fell in love with that. I like because it's a lot of improvisation and it's a lot of spiritual, whether you're Christian or not, but it's a lot of spiritual things that go into it, and it's me. Nobody can tell me that I'm doing it wrong. Wow. It doesn't come from the long line of tradition. It's like, you have to do it like this. If I want to do it and I like the way it sounds, I can do it. So I've done that. I love gospel. I'm really kind of an old head when it comes to music. Yeah. I'm listening to the Isley Brothers, the Temptations. Like, that's what I listen to. There's jazz, and then I listen to that, and then I like that old school gospel, like that late '90s, early 2000s, pinnacle years of John P. Key. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
And so that's kind of what led me into that music. Is all a feeling, And part of my testimony is when I feel my feelings of worship, because there's a feeling we get when we're worshiping, right? It's not a thought process. It's not a thing we do when we raise our hands, singing a song. It's not because I want the blood to rush from my fingers.
That's right.
It's a feeling. It's an inkling that you should raise your hands. And what I realized is I get the feeling of worship playing music.
That's amazing. That's amazing, man. That's now when you go into that place of focus, do you feel as if you could be there all day? And I know you do. So how do you because you're a father and a husband and want to make sure can you please teach about the balance of it all?
Oh man, the balance. It's crazy because my wife is not a musician. But she's learning to love it, and I'm there's that balance, my son loves music.
Yeah.
And so what's been a good balance for me with him is every time I'm doing something musical, if I can get in there, he just loves it. We sit there and watch videos, and I'm actually studying, learning for something, and he's just sitting there watching, But the balance, it's so difficult, because, like I said, during the day I'm at home mostly and I'm working on my stuff there, but I work at night.
Oh wow!
I mean,
wow.
I play music. That's what I do. So it's a Friday night, it's a Saturday night. My weekends are packed full of things for the whole thing, and so it's crazy because there'll be some weeks where it's like I don't even feel like I see my wife because she comes home and I'm walking out of the door and we're just trading off on our son.
Wow.
And it's the same thing on the weekends, and again, shout out to her because she's never complained once. And it makes me, I'm happy to do my duty during the day. It's like, you go to work, when you get home, don't worry about them, like, let's fix this or whatever. Mm-hmm. But, I just,
got thrown off.
Yeah, no, we're good. Again, that's the ADHD. I'm telling you, there it is. And like, I went to
he's not slow, guys.
I went to like 20
different My wife had a message for him.
It's all good.
And it just threw him all the way off. So I don't want y'all to be like, why is he talking like that?
No, it's good.
Hold on real quick. I gotta keep talking.
Oh yeah. So
mm-hmm.
The balance of it comes into intentional time a lot.
That's good, bro.
And understanding that what my wife feels isn't the same way I feel.
Yeah.
So we need to find something together that we can get into that mode of worship and things like that, and really, So I mean, we have our movies that we watch, our shows that we watch. She had never seen Good Times before, and so right now I'm showing her Good Times.
I almost asked the question, but it's okay.
No, she is.
I almost asked the question.
I know what you're asking.
But that would have sounded. I would lose an audience that I'm trying to build. So I'm not. Well, that's good.
No. Her. She just didn't watch it. You know.
That's understandable.
So it's fine, but there's something else that I can show her. And we watch different movies. Like, you remember this? No, I don't. Let's watch it. Stuff like that. But the balance is difficult because it's not always easy to practice around my son. Wow. And I had someone tell me 2-3 years ago, you will never have as much time as you have right now.
That's good.
And they've never been so true.
Yeah.
It's like you're only getting busier. So your busy schedule isn't going to get easier, and I felt that because I used to be so busy 4 years ago, and I wish I had half of that time back.
Yeah.
I can't practice as much as I want to. I mean, I'm lucky if I can get 2 hours in a day.
Wow.
I mean, when I was in school, it was 3 to 4 minimum. I was literally, this is what I love to do. I found something I could focus on that I really wanted to focus on, but now, I can't just practice my son right there. I want to help daddy. It's like, let me play the saxophone. It's like, okay, I can't practice to do that, Yeah. There's actually a video I have. I was playing my horn and he started singing behind me, singing the notes or whatever. Super cute. But he's like me, and he wants to be involved.
Love it.
So he doesn't like being left out. So I can't just sit him with his toys and him not wanting to get in. Even if you're having a conversation with people, he's starting to pipe up. It's like, let me talk. Like, he's like, we can't understand
I want that conversation with Jay too.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to be on conversation with Jay too.
He probably would. He would have a great time with this. This is his whole personality.
Man, I love it, man. And one thing I love about you is you're so down to earth and so real and so authentic and so genuine. And I believe these are the people that God is raising up in His last and evil days. People that's real, authentic, genuine, and also people that don't mind sharing.
Yeah.
Because sometimes people get scared about like talking about it because you don't know people's agenda.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Especially if you ever been hurt or burned in a deal or anything like that.
My life goal is if I have it, you can have it.
That's good, man.
I mean, because if God gave it to me, why am I hiding it?
That's good.
So I always tell people, it's like, I'm gonna tell you everything I know, and if I don't know, I'm gonna find somebody that does know and give it to you because I'm trying to learn as well. And it happens a lot with musicians, and I think it's so sad.
Yeah.
It's so sad because there's no reason we both can't eat. There's no reason we both can't be at the top. It's it's so sad.
I just think it's one of those things where, I don't think it's personable, but some people you don't know who you can share with.
Yeah.
You don't know who you can actually trust really with it. So it's like, I'm not really trying to be mean. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So So I mean, some people are very intentional about no, and I'm good, and I don't want to talk, and just keep going.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because I sat down with a like who I consider a hero, and I was just talking to him, and they were a very busy person because they were famous.
Yeah.
And the first time they were at a concert, and I was just sharing, and he was like, "Brother, just keep going," and I was like, "Okay, cool." And I hear that a lot. Anyway, so I'm like, well, that ain't really,
Yeah.
But I understood. And then when I met him at a store, his name will be remain. If you follow me, you know what I'm talking about. But when I met him at a store, I was sharing a little bit with him too. He's like, brother, keep going. And I was like, all right, I guess that's all you got for me. So I'm just going to keep going.
It's like,
let me just get the picture and then we'll be out. Your hair.
Let me find somebody that will listen.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, but so we talked about the balance. One thing I want to talk about, man, is there any fears of what if, I'm doing all this in vain? Because I know me personally, especially with my songwriting and my just this conversation with Jay, I love doing it.
Yeah.
But some days I know me, I'll be like, what am I doing? What I'm saying? Do you ever, is it just me, or do you ever have things where in your mind was like,
Yeah. The thing about music and this podcast and any outlet that's creative is it's creative because we've created it and it's our passion. Wow. You can't be as passionate about just a 9-to-5 job per se, because it's not specifically benefiting you other than money. And I'm being general here. It's not every job is like that.
Yeah.
But when it's so personable, you take criticism as a tax.
Wow.
And then your mind or yourself is probably your worst critic.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're like me. Yeah. But I hate everything I've ever recorded in my life.
Me too. Like I question every single song. It's only one recent song I did where I said, now that might work.
Yes.
But it took a lot of work to do it though.
Exactly.
But yeah, I'm
critical,
man.
I'm that's a fear. I'm very fearful of the fact of getting pulled up to a point where I'm reaching my goals and I forget why I'm there. Or I forget why God has called me into this. That's a fear of mine, and I just need to make sure I'm staying in my word at every and I'm hoping that God sees that and He understands. It's like I want to do this, but it's not for personal gain. Like I really want Him to propel me forward. And it's really just the fear of, like you said, like rejection. Like it just doesn't work.
And let me bring clarity, because I just heard something in my spirit while I was talking to you. The Holy Spirit wanted me to bring clarity for anybody that watch this that don't understand. So I'm looking into this camera right here. I want to bring clarity what we're talking about when we say fear. The fear of God is the beginning of wisdom. We're not saying fear as I'm afraid and we don't believe God and we're not going to be faithful or we're not going to do it. It's a certain fear that makes us reach for Him.
Yes.
Because the fear of God is the beginning of wisdom. We want to make sure, because nowadays people teach so much, be bold, be this and be that, until now you done lost the fear of God, and now you can't. you done forgot judgment still begins at the house of God.
Exactly.
So we're not saying fear as we scared and we don't want. I just want to bring clarity. We're talking about having wisdom enough that the things we're doing is pleasing God and is beneficial to our destiny.
Yeah.
Not fear of, I'm just scared. No, it's not the same thing. It's like, okay, we want to make sure we're using wisdom and making sure, because we're young in our marriages, we're young with our children, and we don't want to just be doing stuff outside of the will of God and outside of the boundaries of our family. Exactly. So just for the ones that watch this, that y'all shouldn't be afraid. Y'all got Jesus. We know.
Yes.
And we not and we got Him, and we not afraid, like fearful, because the first scripture that hit my head was God hasn't given us the spirit of fear. We're not spiritually afraid. We're not talking about that. We're talking about the Proverbs fear. The fear of God is the beginning of the wisdom. Yeah. So because we have so much fear of God and we want to be pleasing to him and also to our family and make sure everything lined up with our destiny, we want to use wisdom in that. Mm-hmm. So I just wanted to bring clarity for the deep folks that may watch it and say, yeah, y'all got Jesus. Y'all see, I'm turning it off. I don't want to hear no too big. Y'all too big to be scared. Y'all 17,000 pounds together.
Y'all gonna be all right.
Y'all gonna be straight.
No, I like that. It's just it's that respect thing. It's that thought process of like, okay, if it doesn't happen, because we both have families.
Exactly.
And it's like, if I was living by myself, I can survive on ramen and peanut butter sandwiches.
Exactly.
Go get me a bum little apartment somewhere.
I do conversation every day. Wouldn't care what to do.
Wouldn't care. And I could put all my money into this to put it somewhere. But it's like when I have wisdom. A family.
That's so good, bro. This is a good show.
Which I think, I got so many people were telling me how, you don't want a family, you don't want a wife yet. You're young and you're trying to achieve something. And I never understood why they were saying that. But now, looking back at it, it was the fear. That's a real fear thing of, when you have a family, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do this. Yeah. And to that, I've learned in life, everything is hard.
Everything.
We have to pick our hard. Losing weight is hard.
But bring that up.
But look, I'm there too. I'm down 15. Look, I'm down 15. I'm working on it too. Yeah. But no. Losing weight is hard. Right. But so is keeping it on. When you look in the mirror, you're not happy with yourself. Reading your Bible is hard. But when the devil comes upon you and the temptations come and things like that, that's also very hard. It's like going to work is hard. But when those bills come and you ain't got the money for it, because believe me, I've been there. Yes, sir. And you're on your knees praying with a little tear in your eye. He's like, God, I don't know how.
Exactly.
You said in your word, you never leave me, forsake me. But Lord, I feel forsaken.
Not forsaken.
Lord help me. You gotta go King James on it.
Dost thou leave?
Dost thou not love your son?
I love it, bro.
No. And I'm just, that's what I got to it because I found that my family is now a part of the passion.
Wow.
Because when you're going for music and it's just yourself, failure could be an option because I'll always just fall back on stuff. There's nobody, I'm not responsible for anybody except for myself. And if I fail, whatever, I was going to move back with my parents or get me a little 9 to 5 or something and work myself back out of that situation. But when you have people relying on you, that's my inspiration. That's my motivation, and it keeps me grounded. It keeps me so grounded because I know that I have a wife when I get home. Yeah. And I know that, my son, if I have a bad day and people aren't liking what I'm doing, my son loves what I do.
Exactly.
I pick him up. He's loving it.
I wrote that recently on Facebook, bro. Like, because a lot of people see my posts, but they don't know what I do. Like, they don't see the work behind. Because I reconstructed this wall. Wow. I'm building a stage.
Wow.
You see what I'm saying? And I do a lot of the editing of my own videos and stuff like that. And so to hear my kids say, Dad, that's amazing. You know what I'm saying? To hear my kids say, Dad, this is like great. Like, I'm teaching them without having, and I'm not a guy, I didn't go to school. So like when you hear a song I wrote, it's not from a place of education. Like the Bible says they marveled because they were unlearned men. So every time they heard the disciples teach, they were like, oh my God. Yeah. They were marveling. They was excited because they were like, these people are unlearned men and women that's teaching the word like this, right? And so I definitely understand the family dynamic of it because that's one of the things that's big with me, man. Family is huge.
It's huge.
It's huge because you want, you don't want to be. I know people that say all that. I don't believe in the option part of stuff.
Yes.
I believe when God said Adam and Eve, everybody, I don't believe God made 17 Eves and told Adam to pick one.
Yes.
And that part of the Bible was skipped over. I believe it was a one rib and one woman for that person. So I never, even when I was younger, I never dated to date. Mm-hmm. I always dated with a purpose of eventually being married, you know? And that's a whole nother conversation for a different day.
Of course, but I'm the same way.
But musically passionate, when it comes down to the passion and when it comes down to worship, when it comes down to jazz, and when it comes down to the balance and everything we've talked about on the show, what will, and this is just your moment because we're about to end, but what will you say to anybody that's just, like we said, that's dealing with nervousness, that's dealing with, I got a family, I don't got as much money. What would you say to a person that's just getting started? You know what I'm saying? Is, oh, I want to be a rapper, I want to be a singer, I want to be a musician, because I want to play the keys, but I keep putting the keyboard down. You see what I'm saying? So you ain't going to never learn how to play the keyboard. Sure. So like, just your last final moments, what would you say to somebody that just want to be that, but just don't really know how to have the balance and stuff like that?
Look forward to your failures. Because that's the only way you're going to learn. That's the only way you're going to learn. Look forward to them. We might think that somebody telling us something is how we're going to learn it. But I mean, in your life, have you learned all your lessons that God has tried to teach you?
No,
by him and you know he's told you. You know he's told you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just, you can't be afraid to fail, especially in this creative environment, because you're going to, you know, because part of our creativity, I don't care how creative you are, you have to learn how to tap into that. You know, you can't just do it. This takes work. This creating the wall, understanding this, you have to tap into your creativity. And then
you in that vein. I almost shouted, but I forgot. We ain't at church. Look, man. But boy, you is tapping on something, God.
You got to tap into the creativity, and then you've got to trust God isn't leading you astray. Especially if you don't see anybody doing it. If it looks impossible because you don't see it happening, then that's probably 100% why it's on your heart. That's 100% why it's on your heart. You know, because God, we put God into a box.
Yeah.
You know, Pastor said it yesterday at church. He said, "Oh man, I don't want to misquote him, but he was saying, he said, everything that God has cannot be bought with earthly possessions, because He's so much higher than the earth, right? So if you want Him to really bless you, stop looking for stuff on earth. Stop looking for stuff on earth." Because you're not going to see it. You're not going to see the other people making a living off the music, because God hasn't called them to that. You know, you're not going to see the other people that have 5 kids and still are trying to be a creative. You know what I'm saying? You can't see it on earth because it's not from the earth. There's no Mother Nature telling you this is how you do it. There's nothing like that. It's simply how God is putting it on your heart. And I'm a firm believer that when God puts something on my heart and I can't get rid of it, I know that's what I'm supposed to be doing. I know. And it's like, sometimes you'll be sitting there, it's like, God, you're not answering me. I need to know if this is what I'm supposed to be doing. You're not answering me. It's like, I'm not answering you because I don't need to. You're not listening to me. I've already told you. It's right there in your heart. You have the passion. You have the drive. Go do it. And you might not be the best in the world, but I'm not calling the best. Calling the people that are serving.
That's right.
It's 100% there. That's what I say to people.
Love it, bro. Yeah. This has been a great conversation with you. This has been a amazing show. I just want to say one thing, bro. Thank you, first of all,
thank you
for coming and being a part and just being on my show and great. I'm gonna let you plug your stuff here in a minute. But I just gotta say this on that because it's something that God been dealing with me about. He says, in the beginning, God created. In the beginning, God created. And then I want to jump to let us make man in our image and in our likeness. The likeness of having the ability to create.
Yeah.
I believe the reason why a lot of us is sad and depressed and feeling some type of way is where we're not creating. I believe we're working and we're surviving and we're grinding. But when the last time you created? Oh God, I feel this. I feel this. When the last time you have created even some? That's why I believe men do the grill so much. Just like, because it's something in man that has the ability to create. And when you lose your ability to be creative, that's why your imagination was so preached on when you was in school, because the teacher wanted you to get back to creating a world that takes you out of your current space. It's not about the cards that you've been dealt. Take those cards and build something with the cards that you, oh my Lord, this is too good and this is not. He kept saying creation and it was, I said, I'm trying not to share it.
Let me get a click track going. Go ahead, bro.
But man, okay, but yeah, this has been good. This has been great.
Yeah.
This has been great. Make sure you follow me as I follow Christ. He's going to end us out with his plugs and stuff.
Anywhere, G Boykin Music, GBOYKIN Music. Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and then my YouTube channel is what is a really big thing. There's a lot of cool stuff on there. A lot of crazy things. I have a cover actually coming out. I haven't done a cover before, but I'm pretty excited about this one. So yeah, G Boykin Music, or if you're on YouTube, just type in Giant Boykin and you'll find it.
Awesome, man. This has been Conversation with Jay. Thank y'all so much. We out.